So let me see if I'm in tune real quick and get my pick in my mouth. Hold on a second. I should start off talking somewhat clear. Okay, so I am going to today continue on with basically looking at this nodal point, and we're doing what I call the reach up, and I'm going to compare once again this collection of notes, which is a collection of notes around C major, this collection of notes where now that A is now the mixolydian. This is a collection around D major, but I'm focused on A mixolydian, and then this collection of notes. So as I build a chord, I will build the chord from the perspective of those three collections of notes, trying to basically be able to take my mind through all three collections of notes to be able to visualize each shape that I'm in from the perspective of the collections, which I will name by what I give the numbering system. This is the first position, or you might call it a G-shaped position, an Ionian G shape, and then what's it going to be when I move that to make it the mixolydian node, to make it the Ionian node, and that will allow us possibly the ability to maneuver between the Ionian node, the mixolydian node, and the Phrygian node. So I was going to try, before I do that, I was going to try my cajon, which is technique practice here, and see what would happen if I try to put my guitar on my other leg, so I can hit the cajon like this. You can't really see the guitar that way. But I'm thinking I could be able to switch it back and forth, so that's what I was going to test out. But I have a small space. I'm going to hit my mic, and I'm going to hit the thing where my mouse is on. If I do that, maybe I could put my mouse somewhere else. Hold on a sec. I need a rearrangement. Let's try this. Okay. So, and why would I do that? Because what I'm thinking is, like, I could noodle around like this, and then have the open string. But my cajon is on the, I have it like a little bit twisted, so it's on the inside here, that's like kind of in front of me, like kind of like a cajon would be, but it's kind of tilted at the same time. So then, and I can hit the back panel that way. But then on the strumming, like I'd like to do mute strumming, where I could strum the whole thing where it's muted, which might be easier to do if the guitar was tilted this way, because then my wrist is above it, and I might be able to like kind of mute pick. So I'm thinking if I want to do a full mute pick, it would be easier if the guitar wasn't tilted this way, but this way. I put the guitar on my left leg, so if I was to put it on my right leg, like I could put this one over here, then I can reach the guitar, then I can reach the cajon between my legs instead of putting my hand on the left of my left leg. I could reach around and grab it between my legs like normal cajon style, and then I can mute pick. So around my left leg. is I'm missing my footstool on my right leg. If I do that, what if I pull this drawer out here? Pull the drawer out, and then I can put my foot on a footstool this way. That's gonna mess the drawer up. The drawer is not made to lean on like that. That's okay. It can take it. We're gonna... Sloppy. I know it's sloppy because it's a practice session. It's a practice session. The other way I could do it is I could twist on the cajon to have the same footstool. So then I'd be over here. footstool's too tall, so I'd have to pull the drawer out. get to my joke now, and then we'll roll forward. My earphones have broken. They're hanging off my left ear, which is a little annoying. I need new earphones. These ones went pretty good. They worked for a long time. Maybe I'll just buy the same ones. See if I can get them past the blockade. It's been a simpler... kind of... So hold on a second. Alright. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to try the joke today. Somewhat political joke this time, so I'll try not to, like... I'll give you my explanation. I know I have to explain the thing so I don't annoy too many people, but I don't know. I didn't see today what happened, but there was, like... a military move here, which is kind of controversial over here, and but it seems like that, you know, my basic take on it is that you've got like, it seems to me like over here in the United States we always had like the crazy two pacifist leftists that were trying to be noble and nice by basically saying that we just shouldn't be involved in the world at all, and we should become impotent basically, and the world would be a better place that way, which seems completely naive. And it seems to me like the Reagan policy was basically peace through strength, which was kind of like, okay, we're not doing that. And then more recently we had some problems where we didn't have the objective right. And the most common example there was the Iraq war, where we didn't really know what we were doing. We responded to the Twin Towers being taken out by airplanes, and the initial response seems to me was pretty good. But we went over there and it was so clean, it seemed like the first time was pretty straightforward. So then I think they started to think, oh, what we can do is we can go over there and we can kind of fix it, right? But the problem is the place was, it seems to me it wasn't conducive to wanting to be a democratic republic or whatnot, or it was difficult, or they didn't really have an objective. Clearly, they didn't define the terms, and therefore it made our military look. It made us look kind of stupid. It kind of made us look stupid because the military needs an objective, right? Didn't seem like there was a clear one, and they call that the forever wars. And now you've got the rise of what they're calling the woke right, which includes, I guess, the Groypers now on the right. I don't know who all these terms are, but the woke right, I'll just use the term, seems to be taking, in essence, the same position as the super pacifists, leftists, that had to be explained to that peace through strength was the way to go. Because the super woke right guys are now saying that we should not intervene with anyone, but not from a perspective of like, we're trying to be super nice and like we don't want to be mean, but because we're going to be greedy mean. We're going to be extremely, because we're just going to fend for ourselves, and it's us first kind of thing, which self-interest is fine, but it's a naive way to think about it, because it's ridiculous to think that you can't, that as if our interests are not worldwide when it's a global economy and there's a global playing field. And like we went over and bombed Iran, like the nuclear plant, like in a day, right? So it's not like you could just sit over here and be like, oh, I'm just going to isolate, like I'm not going to, it seems like such a naive way of thinking of it. So it seems to me somewhere in the middle has to be there, right? So, and then they try to compare everything to the Iraq thing, meaning the forever war. So every time we do something, they took out the nuclear plant in Iran, and they say, well, that's going to turn into to the Iraq thing. And it's like, well, no, it's different it's different circumstances. They went over there with a clear objective. They did the thing and they left. It's not the same thing, you crazy people. You have to analyze the situation, and then now you've got the same thing happening in like Venezuela, other Latin American countries as well have. They're not all the same situation, but you have some that are like, it seems like there's like an illegitimate dictator and you've got the people that actually want to go back to a democratic republic. Now, from my perspective as an American, it would be nice if they were a democratic republic, because that would mean they're freedom oriented, and that would mean that they would probably naturally move away from China and Russia and be more we could understand them better and trade better and do everything. So that would be better for everyone, seems to me. Same with like the whole Iran situation. There seems to be stuff going on over there. It seems to me the situation there is different than the forever war in Iraq, because you have a bunch of people who, once again, seems like they want a democratic republic, and they've had it. They know how to do it. It's not like a totally foreign thing. And so it's just, so it seems like if you were able to change the situation so someone like Iran actually became more of a democratic republic, how would that be not good for us? I mean, that's ridiculous. That would mean that they would pull away from this axis of power that's happening with the people in charge with China and Russia, and they would naturally want to be away from them more, because they're not just because they're trying to decentralize the power, which means we would understand them better, and you would trade better with us, which would be like a cold. Seems to me we're kind of in a Cold War situation with China and Russia right now. So it seems to me like it would be great if Iran became more of a democratic republic, and then I mean, I'm not even sure that would be like amazing, but clearly some of the places in Latin America, it seems to me it's a different situation, is what I'm saying, than just going into Iraq. You can't just put all the situations in one group and act like they're all the same. Okay, so that's the basis. So I kind of feel like, I don't know what's going to go on from here, but I kind of feel like, I give them the benefit of the doubt that this could be a move that goes towards a democratic republic, which would be good for everybody. That's my general take on it. I'm just a normal, so I'm not like an expert or anything. But so anyways, that's the basis of my joke. Peace through strength is the key. No vibes, no intent, no strongly worded international concern. That doesn't do it. That you might think that sounds nice, doesn't help. It doesn't help. The U.S. military doctrine needs to be long, strong, and stubbornly persistent over time, which can be efficiently summarized in one highly technical strategic term I call schlongevity. Schlongevity. Schlongevity is the fusion of long, strong, and potent, meaning FAFO certified. I mean, if you want a potent military, you need a military with schlongevity. There, I said it. History already knew it. I just trademarked it. So let's be honest. By the way, international law has become weaponized guilt. International law is like DEI that went crazy in the United States. It's ridiculous. Who makes international law? It's like it's like you've got people that do not have good incentives in mind making international law, and then we're over here going, oh, we're going to follow. Come on. It's just all the guilt. The international law, like DEI has been weaponized guilt. No laws, tomes, knee-high tomes. So knee-high tomes designed to be placed directly in front of freedom-seeking nations, especially the United States, so every step forward becomes a shin-smashing guilt trip. Yes, international law has officially evolved from figurative guilt trip to a literal obstacle course of shame. It's a literal freaking guilt trip at this point in time. Freedom-seeking people can't move an inch without tripping over Article 47, subsection B, paragraph, you should feel bad. Okay? That's not even a law. That doesn't even make sense. These laws don't make sense. We don't need to listen to them. To this international law thing, it's a myth. It's not even a thing. And if we let the guilt trip tomes calcify, the tomes will turn into rocks. And once they're rocks, the woke right and the woke left will start throwing them at normal people. Because apparently, for some reason, The normal people, the normies out there, are the problematic ones now. That's how it seems to work. Congratulations. We've gone from guilt trip to guilt stoning. This is not good. We went from a literal guilt trip to a little. That's what we have to stop the whole international. Like, no. I'm going to see if it doesn't line up with the United States law. That's what we should be kind of focusing in here. Don't give me this red herring crap, all because the law book's hardened, man. Seems pretty clear Trump and Rubio aren't buying into the new woke right isolationist monastery plan. It's as stupid as the pacifist plan. It's dumb. The whole point of the whole point we pay taxes to the government is so that they can negotiate around the world on our behalf and defend us using whatever means is basically necessary. Otherwise, all the states would be doing their own thing, and all of us and all the companies would be doing the same thing. No, we pay the government so that they interact with the world on our behalf as a united state entity, and then you have to have peace through military schlongevity. Peace through military schlongevity. You naive, pacifistic lunatics and isolationists, doesn't work. Thank you for your attention to this matter. P.S. Rubio for president. I'm liking Rubio as the front runner right now. Anyway, I wrote a song about it. Let's see what we've got. I just tried to put that in the Suno. Let's see what it does for us.
Yeah. Yeah. Peace through strength is the key, yeah. Not vibes, not intent, not apologies. Not a strongly worded international concern. Printed twice, stamped thrice, then promptly ignored. You don't deter with feelings, you don't scare with a memo. You don't stop a tang with a conference panel and a tremolo. If you want the world calm, you don't whisper, you show it. Power that lasts, power that knows it. Strong, holding over time, say it slow, let it echo in the spine. Call it what you want, but history says if it lasts, it works, and it doesn't apologize. Longevity, that's peace through strength, longevity. Yeah, longevity. U.S. doctrine ain't a mood or a trend. It's stubborn, persistent, won't politely end. It shows up early, stays late, keeps receipt checks fake. They asked for a return, we gave them one word. Highly technical, peer review, platform preferred. Long, strong, holding over time, built to last longer than the irate cycle timeline. Say it loud for the ones who pretend that deterrence works better when it's paper thin. Longevity, yeah, peace through strength, longevity. Yeah, longevity. Yeah, let's be honest. International law ain't laws anymore. It's guilt with the jaw, not rules. Tones, knee-high tones. Designed to trip nations just trying to roam. Blazed right in front of freedom's feet. So every step forward cracks a shin in the street. Did you file subsection B? No. Trip. Wow, that's problematic of thee. Went from a guilt trip to an obstacle course. Shame with footnotes, weaponized remorse. Strong, potent over time, not a pamphlet, not a hashtag line. You want peace that actually stays. You don't apologize your way through hostile days. Longevity, peace through strength, longevity. Yeah. lie in the isolationist monk retreat plan. No candles, no chance, no world away, silence, just strength that lasts and actually stands. Long, strong, potent over time. Say it like a doctrine, not a pickup line. You want peace that survives reality. Say it with your chest, longevity. Peace through strength, longevity. Unite, pacifistic, lunatics. Thank you for your attention to this matter. P.S. Rubio for president.
All right, let's get back to work. Let's see. Let's put this here. Okay. All right. So I'm on this node. All right. So I'm just gonna I did the third last time, and I'm just gonna keep on going through building the chord, and I'll try to build the whole chord. So, meaning look at every node from each perspective, collection of notes around the key of C, or making the A the Aeolian, and then the Ionian, and then the Mixolydian. Where did my pick go? Yeah, there it is. Okay, is that the right one? That's good enough. Does it matter? All right. Okay. So now I'm on, but let's get Aura in here. Aura would be helpful now that I'm not just jamming. Whoops. She's not called Aura. She's Grok. You can't type in Aura to the thing. Let's see. Aura. Aura. She's not available. No, hold on. She just doesn't hear me. She's got the TV turned up. She can't hear. She's got her headphones on. Aura. Aura.
Yeah.
Hey, we're doing a presentation for music theory. You're the color person, so on the commentary. Okay. All right, so
I think you mean I'm the one who knows their.
yeah,
So?
You know your stuff. Okay, whatever, Ara. Don't trying to get all, gotta be all. All right, so this is nodal point number 6. So we said the third was up here. I'm defining it by the reach forward quadrant, meaning the one that's up to the right, the reach forward to build my chord, defining it by the third being there. So if I'm on nodal point number 6, I'm in the collection of notes around the key of C, which I can find by putting my pinky on the C note on the top string, which is in coordinate system fret 8 Ionian node, or 8-1, fret 8, and then the 1 under that fret, going back to the Aeolian, which would be fret 5-6. So 5-6, it's the Aeolian node under fret 5. In other words, if I was to count it up from my pointer finger, it would be going from 6 to 6, meaning Aeolian to Aeolian, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm focused on this 6 down here. This is what I call position number 1, or the Ionian G-shaped position if you want to look at it from a caged position. So we said that the third is going to be 3 notes away from Ionian, which means if I go up above it, it's going to be 12 minus 3, or negative 8, 9 notes away. Now let's go to the 5th. So I'm going to go to the 5th. what's the fifth of nodal point 6 Aeolian? 5 minus 1 is 4 modal half steps up. So if I'm on nodal point number 6, 6, 7, and then around the horn, the 1, 2, 3. So it would be nodal point number 3, which would be the Phrygian nodal point. So there's the Phrygian nodal point, and so that means that nodal point number 3 is the second modal whole step. 2 times 2 would be fourth modal half step, plus 1 would be the fifth scale degree away from nodal point number 6, which would be the Aeolian, and it has a distance of 7 notes away because all fifths have 7 notes away, except when it's from the Locrian, but we're not going clockwise, we're going counterclockwise. Therefore, if we go 7 clockwise, it would be 12 minus 7, or 5 counterclockwise. There's 5 notes between the strings. That's why it's right above it right there, 5 notes between the string. So that would be my normal kind of chord. So we got boom. So I can kind of play it like this or bar it like that. All right, let's analyze that same thing though from the perspective of this node being the Mixolydian. So if that's the Mixolydian, then where is position number 1? Well, position number 1, if I'm on the Mixolydian, how do I get back to the Ionian, meaning the major? If Mixolydian is 5, 6, 7, and then around the horn to 1, meaning 3 modal half steps up. If I go around the circle, would get me back to 1. 3 modal half steps plus 1 would be the fourth scale degree. Fourth scale degree has half steps away of 5. So 5 notes away. So if this now on the top string is my if that nodal point on fret 5, that A is nodal point 5, 5, 5 position, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gets me to the Ionian. So that means fret 10 on the string closest to the ceiling is my Ionian, which happens to be a D. So this is the collection notes around the key of D. Fret 10 from a coordinate system, fret 10, 1 or 10 Ionian goes back to pointer finger at fret 7, 6, meaning 7 Aeolian. If I go from the pointer finger position of position number 1, which would be going from Aeolian to Aeolian, 6 to 6, it would look like this. 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, but I want to be on 5 in that position here. So that means this nodal point number 5, when I'm reaching forward, is now in position number 1 as I reach forward, instead of position number 1 when I reach backward. What's behind it? This is position number 5 then, as I reach backwards. So that's going to be so I did the third, I think, last time, which was up here. So this was a major third away now. So it's a major third because it's 4 notes away, which would be a negative 8 notes away. So now let's go to the fifth. So 5 minus 1 is 4. So it's 4 modal half steps up from the Mixolydian this time. So 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, looking for the Dorian. So it's in the same relative position as we saw in the collection of notes, or same relative position as though that 5 was not Mixolydian but Aeolian, because the fifth has the same half step distance from every continent or every nodal point. The nodal points be equivalent to continents in our Earth analogy, meaning the colored bits are 7 continents, the uncolored bits are 5 oceans, and we have the same relative position right above it. What's going to be the distance then? It should be 7 notes away, which would be clockwise. We're going counterclockwise, so it would be 12 minus 7 or 5. So there's 5 right above it, so there's that node. That's what we had over here, except this should be up here. What am I doing? This should be up here. That's the third. Okay, so now I have a similar position, except the third is up here, and that means that nodal point 2, Dorian, is always the second modal whole step, 2 times 2, fourth modal half step plus 1 fifth scale degree away from nodal point number 5, which is the Mixolydian. So right, and so I could bar that off like this, or I can play it with these 2 fingers like this.
Right. Or as Mixolydian. The chord shape stays kind of the same, but the key and intervals shift. So you end up building either a minor 7th chord if you're in Aeolian, 6th degree of the major scale, or a dominant 7th if you're in Mixolydian, 5th of the major scale. Pretty neat how one position feeds both.
Right. So now let's say we're going to go to let's say we go to the Ionian. Is the Ionian going to look more like the Aeolian? If this was a 1 Ionian, is that shape going to look more like the Aeolian or more like the Mixolydian? You would think it'd look more like the Mixolydian because it's going to be a major chord, meaning it's going to have a third that's going to be out here instead of back here, and the fifth will be the same, you would think. So if I change this nodal point to the collection of notes so that that node is now going to be the Ionian node, it would be this collection. Let's change this over here too. So now, and this would be from the perspective of the Ionian, correct? Okay, so now I have this, and this would be up here. So didn't I already do this reach forward shape? Maybe I did this reach forward shape before, and I was on the leaning back shape. Now I'm questioning what shape I was in. Did I do this shape before? And maybe I was on the leaning back shape and then I messed it up. I think I was. Dang it. Let's try this one more time. Well, hold on. All right, you weren't here. You don't know because you weren't here yesterday. Well, you were,
Exactly.
but you're different discussion. Okay, so let's try this. So let's go 6 to 1. So this will be a third back this way, and then the fifth is still up here. So now I'm going to say this is the third is going to be defined by a lean back quadrant. So, and then I'm going to go over here and say the third here is going to be defined by this one. So now the third is closer because it's 4 notes away, and then instead of 3 notes away, and then this one is gonna, now I'm on this one which has a third here, and then the fifth is still gonna be right above it. We'll grab that same fifth above it here, like that. So now we have the shape in position 1 would be this. If this was Ionian, it would be this, and then Mixolydian would be this, and then Ionian will also be that. So now I'm on the Ionian. So this is the third. Where's the fifth if that's the Ionian? So the fifth would be 5. The fifth minus 1 would be 4. 4 modal half steps up from the Ionian would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the fifth is going to be, so it's going to be right above it. And that's going to be a distance of, once again, 7 notes clockwise, which would be 12 minus 7, 5 counterclockwise, 5 notes between the strings. Boom. That means that, of course, the Mixolydian is always the second modal whole step, 2 times 2, fourth modal half step, plus 1 fifth scale degree from the Ionian. So this shape looks the same. And then what collection of notes am I in? Well, if this is the Ionian, and that's an A, I can find the A, and now that's going to be my Ionian on the top string. If I put my pinky on it, that means that I got my pinky on fret 5, 1, or 5, which is the Ionian under it, which is an A, which goes back to fret 2, 6. So that means the Aeolian or 6th node is going to be F sharp. So then I would be going, if I play this up normally from this Aeolian position, minor position, 6 to 6, be 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means position 1 is over here. And I'm actually in, then, if that's position 1 or the G-shaped position, then I'm over here. I'm in the front end, meaning the front end towards the sound hole of position number 2, which you could call the Locrian position if that's the first node that you're on, or more commonly from a caged system, the Ionian E-shaped position. But you can also think leaning forward that I'm in position number 3, which would be the Ionian D-shaped position, if you want to think about it that way. So that's going to be, so that's going to be our 3 positions perspectives, right? So if I'm on this node, like if I'm on this node right in the middle of the guitar, I can start to kind of visualize that multiple ways. I can do it by interval, and I can also say, okay, well, if that's nodal point number 6, then I'm on the front end of position number 1. Right here. I'm pretty much dead in the middle of position number 1. But if that nodal point A in the middle of the guitar on the D string is if I want to make it a Mixolydian, then the shape that's going to be around that then is going to be the front end of shape number 5, or the back end of shape number 1, right? And if I want to make that nodal point the Ionian, then I can think of it as, okay, if that was the Ionian, I'm on the front end of shape number 2 and the back end of shape number 3. So that's one way that you can kind of visualize it. And you can also visualize it by, I want to be able to do it both ways. So I want to be able to visualize it by shape. And then by shape, by the way, is still not perfect, because once I visualize something by shape, most people have to know the shape by counting it from the top string, right? So, oh, this is shape number 1, da, 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 right? But you want to know, then once you know the shapes, it'd be nice to know the shapes by 2 strings at a time, maybe, per shape, because then you can start to memorize the nodal points in the shapes. And I think it's easy to do that by locating the box, right? Locate that box, the Ionian box, and then everything relative to it. So if I'm saying if I say this is the Ionian, another way to look at it is if I'm saying, okay, if that's the Ionian, Ionian's in the penthouse of what I call the box house, right? Meaning it's up in the top floor looking towards the ocean, which is the sound hole. So that means I know that if I make that the Ionian, the box is going to be right around it. And if that's going to be in the middle strings, then I know leaning forward, that's position number 3, and then leaning backwards, it's position number 2. If I go into this one, then that Mixolydian, the Mixolydian is kind of on its own, right? It's kind of hanging out. It's not in the box. So where's the box related to the Mixolydian? It's right below it. You can see it right here. So like one way to see it is the box is down here underneath it. You can't see it as clearly here. Why? Because of the kink in the tuning. So the Mixolydian should be at the top end of the box, but this tectonic plate shifted to the right, so it broke the box into halves. But it's still above where the box should be, right? So you can say, okay, the Mixolydian is right above the box, but now the box is below it. So if the box is going to be down here on these 2 strings, then it's going to be shifted. The box got shifted by the fault line in the great earthquake that happened, and that means at that position, if I'm in a position where I'm right over that shifted box right there, then that means that it's position 1 leaning forward, and it's position 5 going backwards, right? Okay. I don't know if does that make any sense, Ara? Was I just rambling there? Does that make any sense? You can't see what I'm looking at, but does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does. You're drawing a map on the fretboard, and the shapes are these boxes that overlap just right. The kink from the tuning throws everything, sure, but once you lock where Ionian sits, top of the box, everything else falls in line below or beside it. Mixolydian hanging above like a balcony, Aeolian underneath, it's all relative. You're not rambling, just building a compass.
Right. See, the Aeolian, like she said, so I like the way she said the good point, Ara. The Mixolydian is like a balcony above the box house. So it like hangs out there above it, okay? And then the Mixolydian is below the box house. So if I see the Mixolydian, I know the box is up to the right. And if I see the Aeolian node 6, I know the box is up and then shifting out towards the right. And if I see the Mixolydian, then I know the box is below and shifting to the left. All right, just a couple ways to look at it, because that then could anchor you, and then you can noodle around with a little bit more like confidence that you have some idea what you're doing. You don't need to totally know what you're doing, just some idea.
Basement, Ionian's the penthouse. So once you spot any of those, the rest slides into place. Makes soloing way less scary.
Alright, let me try my cajon thing again. I'm pretty much done. Let me try the cajon.
What?
Hold on,
Hmm?
Aura. I'm just jamming now.
Take your time.
See, now my headphones get in the way. I'll just take
Just
it.
pull them down your neck. Your time.
Ugh.
Thank